You know I try to be a good man, I always give it my best. But truth be told, someday I wanna go to the wild, wild west.
And now, live from our smokehouse studio, it's time for Real Estate Jerky. All your real estate questions answered by our provocatively lean expert host, Ed Parcaut, MBA Veteran and President of Lending for Living. And today's special expert guest, real estate advice you won't find anywhere else. Plenty to chew on, starting now.
Good afternoon. I'm Ed Parcaut, your host, and I want to thank you for tuning in. I'm here with our guest, Steve Benson from Modesto Kitchen and Bath. Some of you might know he's a returning guest. I think you were here about 5 or 6 months ago.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah. We had just finished our outdoor. We finished our kitchen. Today we're going to be talking about kitchens and baths and outdoor kitchens and even bathrooms. We'll get into all that. But I want to go back to where you were at. You just had finished our remodel, right, which I was shocked how fast and on budget and on time that you guys were, and it was amazing. That's why I wanted to have you on back then.
Well, I appreciate that.
Hey, no problem. I'm glad we have you on again today. So today, Steve and I are going to be talking exclusively about, like I was saying, kitchens and bathrooms. Two of the most important things that you, as a homeowner, will remodel over time to give you the most value for your home, and also comfort. One of our goals on Real Estate Jerky is to help you learn more about home ownership and how you can take advantage of building personal wealth through home ownership. And once, of course, when you're in that point of owning a home, what you should do and what you should look out for. And, you know, like when you're considering things like conditions, aesthetics, what you should do to protect yourself while you're a homeowner, like estate planning, taxes, insurance, fees, repairs, maintenance. There's a long list, but we're here to help you manage that with experts who come on. So let's get to know Steve Benson, our guest today from Modesto Kitchen and Bath. I got that down so I don't say kitchens and bath. I know it's funny because my wife gives me a hard time about it all the time. So a few questions I have for you.
Sure.
All right, so you've been doing this for a little bit, right? How long have you been doing this?
Boy, probably 33, 34 years now, probably. I have no other skill set. This is it.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
How did you get started?
Let's see. I actually used to work for Pay and Pack when I was in college. You remember Pay and Pack stores? It was before Home Depots and all that stuff. It's a long time ago.
I was in Southern California.
Yeah, you're probably a lot younger than me, so you're probably...
Just a couple days.
Yeah. So anyway, started there while I was in college and just enjoyed it, and I worked for a company called Somatic in San Francisco and just kind of morphed into it. You know, it wasn't a plan, just kind of ended up there. But love what we do, and when you love what you do, you can do a better job at it.
Correct. You got to love what you do.
Yep.
It's kind of like myself. When I got in the mortgage industry, it's not like something you plan on, you go to school for, you do that, you end up falling into it or doing it.
Exactly.
Right. So part of the business that you do, what do you love about your business?
Really changing people's homes. You go in and, you kind of get to be a rock star sometimes. You go into this house, it's not nice or we wouldn't be there, and tear the kitchen apart, bathrooms, wherever they have, put it back together again and give them something fantastic that they're excited about that, of course, is going to fall in their budget.
And I'm sure the whole process of changing what they want, because I remember when we came in, we sat down in front of you, right? And you have we tell you what we kind of want, and then you kind of build a plan. Do you still do all that?
Still do the same thing, yeah. Start with like a budget consultation in the showroom to kind of talk about the depressing part, the dollars and cents of the situation, right. And then from there move into design work, putting together actual estimates, putting together a budget, just like we did on your project, and then just follow the whole system through, start to finish.
Yeah, what I liked when you did put the budget together for us, I mean, you even thought about things that could possibly happen. You know, like we could have some major electrical because you have an older home, and you put a contingency part in there. And I just know some people don't do that. And it's important to make sure everything's covered. Yeah,
what's real funny is that we'll be sitting down with a customer and they will say, well, how much extra should I allow, beyond your contract? And actually, we're actually about 85% of our contracts finish at contract price. It's a very small percentage that goes over that. Typically, small percentage is maybe you find some dry rot or some termites or something. The biggest change is owner adds. We're doing the job and they decide that, we want to add a second shower head, we want to add a window, do this, do that. And that's probably where the extra dollars are. The contingency, obviously, as you call it. But we don't run into that too much. We're really proud of the fact that we keep everything really contract price. And part of that is because we spend so much time, as you know, up front talking about all those issues and talking about, in fact, I remember you had some electrical few little electrical issues in your house, and we took care of it.
Right.
So,
well, it's a 1950-ish,
yeah, it's
60
going to
home.
happen.
It's going to have
1950s.
issues.
It's going to happen.
Any home that's not brand new will have issues, right?
Absolutely.
And even new homes can have issues.
Yep.
Depending on who built them.
Yep.
Kitchen or bath, which is your favorite and why? These are questions I was asked to ask.
Yes, okay. You know,
I'll come up with my own later. I just want to make sure
it
I hit
might
'em.
sound silly because kitchens are just the floor plan, the footprint so much bigger than a bathroom.
Right.
But bathrooms are definitely become more complicated. They have become more complicated than kitchens. We enjoy both. We really enjoy just changing their house. But if I had to choose, it'd be kitchens just because it's a bigger project.
And bathrooms have more plumbing issues, right?
A lot of plumbing and just a lot of parts and pieces.
Yeah.
We look at our purchase order sheet for a bathroom is twice as long as a kitchen, and it's half the size or a third the size or whatever. You know.
Mm-hmm. What's the biggest change to your industry in the last 25 years?
Oh boy. Probably in 25 years. Cabinetry has changed tremendously with all of the in California, especially with all the finish changes and VOCs with chemicals and lacquers and all of that. It's really tough to get a decent finish done in California. All of our cabinetry we bring in from out of state, and there are companies that have hundreds of millions of dollars to be able to have special spray booths and spray special chemicals and all that to give the special finish. But really the finish on the cabinetry. You used to be able to buy really good stuff 25 years ago off the shelf, and you can't buy it anymore. So you have to have special licenses and certificates and all that, and special certifications to be able to buy these chemicals, which only the really big boys can do.
But they're out of state. They're in other states that don't have the same.
California.
Yeah. I mean, California has some of the strictest guidelines for certain
They
things.
do, and it's great if you want to breathe, but it's not so great for the quality of the finish on the cabinet. Yeah,
right. You want to have really nice cabinets, or do you want to breathe? Right.
Right. Yeah, it's a choice.
It's a toss-up. Well, and I also know there's been being in the real estate industry doing loans, there's been major changes for. Like in your bathroom with, how much water can come out through your faucets and how much water can come out through your jets, right?
It's changed a lot just in the last few years with all the droughts we just went through.
Right.
If you pull a permit, you do a bathroom remodel, you're actually supposed to change out the faucets and toilets in the house to be Cal compliant. So even if it's not in that part of that bathroom remodel that you're doing.
Because aren't your toilets supposed to be at a certain...
Yeah, 1.28 gallon flush.
Yeah.
An old toilet could be 3.5 gallons.
Right.
So
the good old days.
The good old days. Actually, as efficient as they are now, there are, by the way, brand, they still work really well.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw one on TV the other day where they waved at it and they flushed.
Yeah.
You didn't have to touch it.
Yeah. I have one of our manufacturers, Toto, which is our main toilet manufacturer that we do. We just brought in a $4,700 toilet for display. Not that we're going to sell very many, but they made us to be a dealer.
So you just walk up to it, opens up for you.
It should be able to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich, but it doesn't.
Not in the bathroom.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I've seen some of them that are really amazing.
A lot of them have built-in bidets. That's what really jacks up the price is the bidets.
Yeah.
But when your toilet has a full computer board in it,
right,
it's fancy.
Yeah. Warm seat, warm water,
you name it.
Yeah.
Blow dryer, the whole deal.
Because you never know how you're going to do your hair.
Yeah. Hurt your back bending over that far.
That's right. Let's see. We got a couple more things, so we're going to go to a break. So electrical issues are one of the number one issues probably when you're doing a remodel in a kitchen, or is it plumbing? What do you think is
plumbing, electrical things that are hidden, so that you can't see until you start tearing things apart. I had a job, it's probably been 20 years ago now. We had opened up the walls and there was orange extension cords. The entire kitchen was wired with orange extension cords inside the wall.
That's really cheap to do.
Yeah, it's really, yeah. So, of course, that had to be redone. But, yeah, you do get some surprises, and typically they are going to be electrical and plumbing.
Right.
Yep.
Because I know, like, when we had our bathroom done, the biggest thing was electrical. They used the junction box for our light. They had the light box was a junction box.
Right.
We had a live 240 in the wall that was capped off.
That's perfect, yeah.
Yeah, you never know when you need that in the bathroom when you're taking a shower. So, and I know with our kitchen, we had, they hadn't had a vent put in, right?
Right.
Well, there was one there, but when they remodeled it in the 80s, they just moved the stove and they didn't rehook that up.
Right.
And then you guys were able to find it and
Pretty
hook
typical,
it back up.
Tie
Yeah,
back
simple
into
stuff.
it, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Steve Benson from Modesto Kitchen and Bath. And remember, if you have questions or comment, you can dial at pound 250, say the keyword real estate jerky. Again, that's pound 250, say the key phrase real estate jerky. You can also leave us questions or comments. Thanks for those of you like Thomas Orozco who called us, and we took good care of him. And we'll be right back. All right. Slow down. I know. We're going to it so fast. Take time thinking about it. You know what I mean? Just to
stretch it out.
We're done. Yeah. No more questions.
You never know how you're gonna do your hair.
I'll slow down.
I was like, what? No, they did. They said it. They went there. Yay. It was good. It was good. Those things are crazy, though. Those toilets are crazy. They should talk. They almost do. They almost do.
You know what cracks me up on the instructions? It says remote control works up to 15 feet away. I don't know why you need that. You know?
Can't even. I can't ponder that.
I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
I can't ponder that.
Yeah.
I can't.
How many breaks 12 on the next one?
As long as we want them.
Oh, okay.
Oh, because they're pre-recorded for Saturday.
We're just so that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. What do we? All right. So, what can we? All right. So, I got more questions to ask you, but I don't want to act like I'm just asking you questions. All right. All right, so we got a whole thing on outdoor kitchens. I think we should try to move that to the next segment. Okay. So let's spread out some right now. Tell me a story of something you just remodeled and what were some of the issues that popped up. I resolved them, or if do you have anything like that?
Let me think for a minute. Yes, a million of them probably. Then you put me on the spot.
No, just take your time.
Let's see. The orange extension cord thing.
Right. So I'll go back and I said before the break you were talking about how. You found at one job site orange extension cords in the walls. Did you? What else have you found that was shocking?
Yeah, there you go. The shocking.
Oh, I didn't get that.
That's pretty good.
I try.
So we actually, it was a bazillion years ago, but when I worked in the city, before I was even self-employed, it was 30 years ago. I was in San Francisco, and we were doing a kitchen remodel. We opened up the wall and we found a whole room.
Another room in it?
Yeah. In a flat, like an old flat built in the 30s in San Francisco. Yeah, it was except back in time. There's newspapers in there, a rocking chair. It was weird. There was all clothes and stuff in there. It was really weird. Somebody just boarded it up.
Wow.
So
we'll get but you've had to, and then we'll expand on whenever you're ready. We can go into kitchens and baths. But try to take your answers a little bit slower
and drag them out a little bit. Okay.
Well, not just you're talking way faster.
I'm talking way faster. Yeah, I talk too fast. I got to consciously remember to slow myself down.
Yeah, just so that way we can spread the time out. Right. I don't have another person to break into us and say stupid things to take us off course right now.
Right.
Love her to death, but I don't have her.
If you stress stuff out, you can talk about hey, I heard you just said you're just a new grand. Right. Yeah, you did the grandbaby thing if you want.
Sure. All right.
You'd ask the extension cord thing. I think you'd ask instead of what's the strangest thing you ran into.
Real Estate Jerky is back on Power Talk 1360. Chew on that.
Hey, we're back. I'm Ed Parcaut, mortgage advisor with Lending for Living, and your host. And I'm here with my guest, Steve Benson from Modesto Kitchens and Bath. I did it again, Kitchen and Bath. All right, Steve, today, we're talking about kitchens, bathrooms, outdoor kitchens. Before the break, we were talking about, you found when you're doing a remodel, there was extension cords in the wall. What other strange things have you come across?
Yeah, probably the strangest was maybe almost 30 years ago when I worked in San Francisco. We were doing a job, and we opened up a wall and found a whole room, probably a 10 by 15 foot room. It was huge. It was in this huge 100-year-old loft in the city, and we had to stop the whole project, obviously, and redesign everything and start all over again. But there was stuff in there. It was like from a movie. Stepping back in time, there was some furniture, there was old newspapers, there was clothing from probably the 40s.
Wow.
It was pretty neat.
So they got more square footage.
So they got some more square footage and no extra charge.
Yeah. Yeah, in San Francisco, it's probably worth a lot.
Yeah, it's probably worth an awful lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so besides that's a strange room, and that's before we get going, I heard through the break that you became a grandfather again?
Yeah, I did. Not again. My first one.
First one? Okay.
Yeah, my son Blake, my oldest, just had a baby girl named Riley Grace, and she was born about 6 weeks ago, and we are ecstatic grandparents. It's pretty cool being grandparents. They're way better than kids.
Yeah, because you can give them back.
Just give them back.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
You can feed them up. Well, when they get older, you can give them a lot of sugar and stuff. And then, here you
Exactly.
go. Yeah. Here's some caffeine.
And when she smells, I hand her to my wife. It was perfect.
I hand her back to my daughter.
Yeah. We babysat for the first time on Saturday.
Oh.
So that was I sat on the couch.
Your
I
wife
watched.
took care of everything?
Yeah, she pretty much took care of it. Yeah. Yeah.
So how it was back in the day?
Yeah, no, it was a little bit different back then. Yeah.
We actually had to get involved, both of us.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Yeah, wasn't so lucky. We always, or I don't know if it's lucky, but and so most people don't know, but my son's graduating this year from high school, and he's actually going in the Army. So,
all right,
yeah, so
right,
finally get rid of one of the last ones out of the house. All right, so let's keep on the theme of kitchens and bathrooms. Basically, like I was saying before, when we opened up in our kitchen, it was not a major issue. There was some electrical, but nothing major. But one of our issues was when they added the panel on. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember, yeah.
Then they never took the old fuse box out.
Yeah.
So you guys took care of that for us.
Yep.
And so
stuff like that will happen. Old house just needs maintenance, and if it wasn't done,
you got to take care of it.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the same thing we do when we just take care of anything that comes along. Most of our clients don't know when issues come up on loans. We just take care of it and move on, so they don't know all the stress. Right. Pretty much what you guys do. Right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to get in. How long have you been doing outdoor kitchens? And
we've been doing them for quite a while. It's probably become more mainstream just probably in the last 5 or 6 years, and people are actually spending a lot more money on outdoor kitchens at this point.
Yeah, I remember years ago when I was in Southern California. I mean, I had a CDC. And that those things are like $5,000. They're expensive. Right. Luckily, I got it from the guy I worked for. He was going bankrupt, so he gave it to me. But I could never. I didn't want to spend that much money on a barbecue. But it's amazing how expensive things can be. You know, and how much money you can put into your backyard.
It's not unusual for people to spend upwards of $30,000 on an outdoor kitchen. They can be substantially less than that. You don't have to spend that much money. But a lot of people are putting TVs and. Outdoor TVs just in general are expensive
because of the glare and stuff.
You've got to be completely waterproof. It's a moisture and water issue, I think, more than anything else.
You can't just put a regular TV out there.
Yeah, you can, but actually, I've had some clients just put regular TVs in simply because, hey, if it breaks, it's so much cheaper.
Right.
We'll just keep replacing it.
How expensive are outdoor TVs?
Probably about $3 or $4 grand.
Really?
Yeah, they can get up there.
Wow, because you can get a whole 80-inch TV for that now.
For like $60, I think, at Costco or something. Isn't that what they are now?
They're pretty inexpensive compared to where they were. I remember the first 52-inch TV I had to have to get in a spot was more than that barbecue that I got. Anyway,
I think we paid $5,000 for a 42-inch TV back in the 90s, and actually had to make payments on it.
Right. Yeah. Now you can get them for $300.
A 22-year-old kid should not be buying a $5,000 TV.
Well, you had to have it back
seemed like a
then.
good idea at the time. Yeah.
So what are the advantages of outdoor kitchens?
I think people are more and more want to be outside. And I don't know if that's maybe our generation, maybe even more so the millennials that are out now. They just want to be outside, and everybody's trying to bring the outdoors in, the indoors out. So I think it's a way to spend time with your family and your friends outside instead of being stuck in the house. Especially in the valley. We have such nice weather, and of course it gets a little warm in the summer. But people want to be outside. So and cooking is just become a social thing instead of just, okay, we need to cook because we need to eat. Cooking's become extremely social. And so people are hanging around the grill, having a beer, cooking steaks, and people just want to be together, hang out together in the outside, and we're getting more and more calls for it.
Right. Plus, you don't heat up your house when you're cooking.
Yeah, it all smells and everything else, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because, I tell people, I see them all the time when they're at Costco going by the Traeger stand, get away from there. Don't buy one of those because if you do, you'll be cooking all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's a Traeger. Once you learn how to cook on it, it's amazing. You can cook anything and it tastes amazing. And so that's, I'll cook everything outside.
Yeah. We tend to do that as well. We have a Traeger plus a regular barbecue. Right. And we tend to do that as well. So, in the mess.
Right.
My wife was out in the backyard cooking bacon the other day because it spatters and she don't
put
get
it on
the
the Traeger.
Yeah.
Have you done that?
I haven't smoked the bacon. No, I haven't smoked bacon
you
yet.
Put it on there you smoke it for 2 hours on there.
Yeah.
And then you turn up to 275 for about 20 minutes or so till it gets crispier. And
yeah,
it's the best bacon you ever have in your life.
We're going to try that next, yeah.
Because all there's no grease left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife constantly had me do that each week. So
And make it up for the week.
yeah, exactly. Make it, and then you just warm it up each day. So, okay, now utility bills wise, is it more expensive to be outside, or is it cheaper to have outside?
I don't think it's really enough to make anybody swing one way or another. Obviously, you're cooking with gas most of the time,
Right.
and gas isn't that expensive, and it's going to be less expensive than cooking on your electric cooktop, I would assume, inside the house.
Now, you hook up most of the time to natural gas outside. Have
We
everything
always
set
try and
up.
get a natural gas line in. Every once in a while, we just can't get to that natural gas line, and we got to set up a propane tank or something like that. But very first thing we're looking at is how do we get water there? How do we get a drain line in there? Because it's usually away from the house.
Right.
So you've got to tie into the home, and it's always optimal if you can be up against the house. So,
'Cause you
but
can
you
hook
don't
up the
always have
drain.
that. You don't always have that opportunity. Depends on the house and the layout in the backyard.
So you can hook up to the water real easy and
Water
drain lines.
and there's sometimes we can get water there, we can get gas there, but we can't get a drain in there. Very common not to be able to get a drain in there. So you have to dig a dry well and tell them you can't use, they can't pour anything down there but water, and
Right. They can't.
can't. They should not ever.
Yeah. All right. How does Steve design an outdoor kitchen?
Oh boy,
Is that too much for you?
No, I can handle that.
right.
You're really
Need a piece of
starting
paper?
I can sketch it out for you now.
All right.
You're starting with the house itself because they're so different, just like anybody's, inside the house. Same thing outside, and their wants and desires. A lot different for an outdoor kitchen. Inside the house, obviously you have a dishwasher, a sink, a refrigerator, a cooktop, an oven. Pretty standard appliances. Outdoor kitchen, maybe it's just a barbecue. Maybe it's a barbecue. Griddles are huge right now in outdoor kitchens. We're putting them in probably half the time. We're putting a griddle in. And people go outside. Again, they want to be together. They want to socialize while they're cooking. And not unusual to go hang out in a nice summer morning and make pancakes in the backyard. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
We did that while our kitchen was being remodeled, so I've had enough of eating outside in the morning.
It's actually more fun when you have a kitchen to fall back on.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. But you're really starting off with the space that's there and where's this thing going to go. And usually when you show up at somebody's house to talk to them about it, they pretty much know where it's going to be. And then you're looking at that and see, how do I tie into the utilities at that point?
So your barbecue, grill, refrigerator.
Refrigerator's big. Ice makers. Don't do a whole lot of ice makers outside. There are some. There is a couple of manufacturers that make them. Just an ice maker only, approved for exterior.
And they stay frozen.
Yeah, stay. That's why you've got to go to the ones that are made for that.
Okay.
So if it's 100 degrees outside, your ice is still
Water.
frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how about pizza ovens?
We've done a handful of them. Haven't done a ton. We have one manufacturer that's actually coming out with a gas pizza oven. Most of them are wood fire, and the wood fire, it just takes so long to heat it up and get it going. It's just that they're very sexy. They're fantastic looking in any outdoor kitchen. But the wood fired it's a lot of work. You need to go out there, stoke the fire, take you at least 2 hours to get the fire ready. The one manufacturer just came out with a gas one is Blaze, and it's a really nice unit.
Yeah, I picked up a Uni. UUNI, have you seen? And they finally came out with a gas attachment, because when you first do it with coal or wood, it's like you got to get up to 900, 750, 900 degrees. It's pretty warm.
You spend 2-3 hours on it, and then you put your pizza in for 7 minutes and pull it out.
Right.
So,
And if you spin it right, you get it done right.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
if you don't spin it right, they got cooked on one side and not on the other.
it's like deep frying a turkey. When you have $80 worth of oil, deep fry your turkey for 20 minutes, and
What do you do with the oil
what do you
after?
do with your $90 worth of oil?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I've seen a lot of people wanting the pizza ovens outside because they want to cook their own pies and they want to do that,
Yep.
and I could see that because it's just too hot in the house during
Yep.
the summer to do
Yep.
any of that stuff.
And actually, with a pizza stone and a barbecue, you can make the best pizzas around.
Yeah.
Yep.
So without adding that in?
Without having the pizza oven.
All right, so we can take that off the list.
You can.
just
Like I
save some
said,
money.
they're very cool looking, very sexy.
Right.
That's what you said.
But they do have those smaller models where you don't have to build the whole thing in,
yeah.
right? And you can have to sit on the counter. That's the one I have, and it works real well. But I've seen the really big pizza ovens.
There's some really cool ones out there. Yeah.
But again, you're spending a lot of money for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But any particular type of barbecue you like better than others to put in out for outside?
Fire Magic's my favorite brand. Of course, that's the Rolls Royce of in the barbecue industry. So they have glass doors. You can get them with Wi-Fi. It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's like I have a thing to plug in all my meat into, so I have a sensor that tells me my temperature of all my food on my phone at all times. So when it's cooking, I know exactly when to take it off.
Right.
Because when you're cooking outside with like a Traeger, you don't want to open up the lid all the time and check the temperature.
You lose all
right?
your heat, right?
Yeah, same thing, right? Okay. All right, we're going to take another break. As a veteran myself, I think it's important to support our members of the military. We always honor veterans business owners during the show. If you're a vet or you know a vet that could use some free advertising, please message us their name and number to pound 250. Again, that's pound 250 from your cell, keyword real estate jerky, and we'll take it from there. And we'll talk to you when we get back. All right, what now?
So you got you have one more, two more? For how long are these?
No, we got another 12 and then probably another 10.
Okay.
So I can talk about the market a little bit. You can ask me, hey, I need to bring this up, and I can say, because like today with the Fed saying they're going to leave everything alone. So we're going to see rates in this market for a while. So that means
you want to give me a question to ask you about it?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I
you
know.
Just say you had some people in looking to I'll ask you how do people normally get the money for these things?
Yeah.
You can say, well, some of them refinance.
Yeah.
What are the rates today or whatever?
Yeah.
And I can go from there.
Yeah. Okay. And a lot of customers, especially if they got a loan just a couple years ago and they've got a 3% loan,
Right. Then they do an equity line.
then they can do an equity line or something.
Yeah. Then they should, but then what'll happen is I'll be refinancing on the way up.
Yeah.
Because they'll take it now for real low rate, right? Whatever Fed funds rate minus a quarter. BBVA is really cheap on that. I'm not going to say that on the radio, but it's the Fed funds rate minus a quarter.
Yeah.
So that would be right now we're at what are we at? Fed funds, I think that's 4% right around there.
Yeah.
So it'd be 3.75. But as soon as the rates start going up again, the Fed starts raising rates.
Right.
That's the first one that goes up.
I had a loan. I had a 7-year balloon, but a 7-year loan, and it was based on LIBOR, and it was like a point below LIBOR or whatever. It had no floor. They put floors and everything now.
Yeah.
And I had like a 1.75% loan on $600,000 for 7 years.
Downturn, right?
Yeah. It's when things just started to dive, and they didn't put floors or anything yet.
Yeah. And my brother-in-law, I did a construction loan for him and my sister. And same thing, it was based off of that. Well, their rate was 1.7, no, I think it was 2% the whole time. So they finished their construction loan, but didn't convert it. They could just keep that loan at that rate for as long as they wanted to. It was
Really?
Construction to perm,
Yeah.
And so they just left it there as adjustable for a long time and then finally refinanced it.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. In fact, I'll need to talk to you eventually. We're building our house. Hopefully in the next few days I'll get the deal put together with the developer and stuff.
You still haven't started?
No. So
Because you've been talking about this a while.
Talking about it forever. So no, I haven't even put the deal together yet because he was going to build a shell for me, and I said no. So he said, "Well, you just build a whole house then." Because hiring a contractor to do my work would be kind of stupid.
All right. So you're going to do it?
It'd be like you go getting a loan from Wells Fargo.
That'd be real fucking stupid.
Yeah, really stupid, right? So, but we're trying to put it together. But we've got the house is probably going to be about $1 million, and I've got about 6 or 7. To put down on it.
Right.
But I don't know.
Find out where I'm at.
So I'm not sure. I don't want to get a construction loan just because they're expensive. So I'm not sure what to do.
Are you going to build it yourself? Yeah.
I'm technically building it myself. Yeah.
Right. But as long as you have enough cash, because you could always pull it. You have a house right now already. You live in it, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any money, any equity in it?
Yeah, probably 100.
Yeah. So the problem a lot of people do is they start building it, and they run out of money.
And then they look for a loan.
And they can't get a loan.
And they can't get a loan because they have a half-built house.
So you can always do a construction loan, and then only have it there if you need it.
And I did one. I did a construction loan. It doesn't matter because it's been 17, 18 years ago, whatever it was. And they made there's like $10,000 in fees. It's just
it's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
Everything's cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean, I just came across a VA loan for somebody New Day USA was doing, and they were charging the vet $22,000 for this loan, and I could have done it for nothing at the same rate.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I could have paid all his fees.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's you still have occasional people out there, but the construction loans, there's only so many people who do them right now.
Right.
And you can do them for 20% down or 30% down. You can use the land as that equity.
Yeah.
You don't have to come in. So you don't have to come with anything, and it's off the draws. So you can do an adjustable off the draw. So as you do a draw, it builds this. You do the foundation, they do the foundation, then they come out and inspect it, then they pay the foundation.
That's what they did on that
Yeah,
one too.
Same with
Yeah.
this, everything else.
Yeah.
So we can, yeah. So let's get back into this.
Yeah.
All right, we're just trying to find my segment to come back in. All right, so we're going into the third segment, and I went through all the questions she had.
Sorry.
So, what? Any like major jobs going on right now? You won't say the names. Oh, actually, I have. What's the coolest outdoor kitchen Steve could think of? What's the oddest outdoor kitchen appliance? What's the must-haves for outdoor kitchen? How does Steve design it? I already did that one.
Let me think for a minute. Outdoor kitchens. Talked about appliances and stuff, and they were kind of funky. You know, ice makers and all that kind of stuff already.
Don't worry, we'll get it.
All right.
Don't worry about it. 12 minutes?
Real Estate Jerky is back on Power Talk 1360. Chew on that.
We're back with my guest, Steve Benson, owner of Modesto Kitchen and Bath. We're talking about outdoor kitchens. Steve, I just had a thought. Maybe I should have this done. How expensive would you think I could do in my backyard for a kitchen? You know, if I just wanted a barbecue, I saw down the road in some of the pictures on Pinterest that people have, they took a Traeger and they split it up. So they have the Traeger in the barbecue area, right? Then they take the bottom of it and they use it as a panels, the bottom part of it, and they have it on top, and they have another panels for it.
They basically took it apart and built it in, basically.
Correct. Is that pretty easy to do? Because if I'm going to do an outdoor kitchen, I would like that included in it, built into it.
As long as you have the space for it, absolutely.
Okay, so basically you would just build around it.
Just build around it.
Okay,
and then kind of start with that as your anchor and build out around it from there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then while we're at the break, we were talking about numbers and certain things, and I think you were asking me, or I asked you, how do people mainly pay for these things at the kitchens?
We obviously have some clients that have cash, but I would say most people are refinancing, taking out some kind of loan or
like an equity
something
line,
like an equity line or something like that. In fact, what I was going to ask you, what are the rates right now?
Well, the rates have been fluctuating a lot. So basically, like, without saying the APR and everything, I'll just say what Fannie Mae's been saying the rates have been. They're saying they're about 4.20 right now is what the Fannie Mae rates are, okay? I did a VA loan for somebody, and it was locked at 3.875, which is, pretty. It's not the lowest. The lowest I've ever done a loan for somebody was 3.25, right? So we're getting back there. This week was a little different because the Fed came out and they said how they're not going to, they looked at their core inflation, and right now the core inflation is below where they want it at. They want it at 2%. It's below that. It's like 1.6 to 1.7. So everybody was wondering if they're going to start easing, lower, and that's what has to do with the equity lines. All right. So the Fed fund rates has to do with credit cards, equity lines, those kind of short-term rates. So they on Wednesday they came out and said, we're not going to raise or lower, so it threw the market into a turmoil because they didn't know what they really were going to do. Right. So with that being said, in the last month I've been saying, when are they going to start easing? Because they really went fast to slow this thing down, and they slowed it down a little too much.
And the rates are fantastic right now. And if I'm old enough, you're old enough to remember, my first house was at 12%, and I was happy to get it.
Yeah. Well, so in the 80s, it was 84. It was 21% was the rate, an average rate back then.
So you see why I was excited to get 12%,
yeah.
Right?
I remember when I got in the business, I was taking people from 13 to 9, and they love me. Now if I give them a 4% or a 4.5%, they think I'm taking advantage.
Right.
And the problem, we've been spoiled for so long with interest rates so low that it's unrealistic to think that we're going to have these rates this low for so long, but we have. Right?
We have, yeah.
And somebody was asking how long we're going to stay in this expansion phase of our economy, right? If you look at Australia, they're in I think it's their 24th year of expansion.
Wow.
Which is unheard of for us, right? We normally go 10 years and we go off the cliff again.
Right.
So now they were asking, is that how we're going to be? And they're like, we don't know. So a lot of people are thinking we're going to just continue expanding the way we are.
And it's really driven by the housing market.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
And we still don't have enough houses. Actually, if you give me a second, I was looking today at the numbers. So last month in April, right, there was 728 homes for sale in Stanislaus County. Not a lot of homes. They sold 426 of them.
Wow.
That's hardly anything, right? And went pending in that month was 597. The month prior is pretty much the same numbers. But if you look at the inventory that we have, it's only like 1.7 months.
Yeah.
So, and for most people like yourself who don't understand,
Right.
inventory of homes, a normal market is 6 months supply. And we're at 1.7 months supply right now.
Yeah.
So we're still in anything that's in the FHA realm is a seller's market. Anything above that is kind of in a buyer's market because of the financing stuff.
Right.
So we're still in a situation where we still don't have enough homes. And so if we keep going this way, our economy is going to keep going, our housing is going to keep going up, and you're going to see more and more people doing what you want them to do, which is put kitchens and new bathrooms in. And
We love it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, back to your thing about what people do with loans, a lot of people will get an equity line today because it's easy to get. They'll pay for it, and then they call me later and say, hey, can you put both these loans together? Because the equity lines are based off of interest only, right? So you make a small payment for a short period of time, usually up until 9 or 10 years. Then to pay that thing off in the 30 years it was allotted, their payment goes from a couple $100 to like $900.
Right.
And so at that point is when they start looking at combining it with their home and then paying them both off in the same amount of time.
So if somebody does want, say, a $40,000 loan, and they do get an equity, are they better off to get an equity line if they're going to pay it off in 5 years?
Yeah, definitely right now. Yes. Don't
Okay.
touch the house if they're going to pay it off in the next 5 years.
Right. But if it's something they're going to make smaller payments and they're going to spend a lot of time paying it off, they may be better off to refinance this from the beginning.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that numbers don't lie, you know.
Yeah.
I won't say people do, but numbers don't. And basically you look at it, so you have to sit down with somebody, have them look through the numbers and see what's best for you, right? Everybody's situation is different.
Right.
So that's what you have to look at. Because if somebody has, and this is one of the reasons there's less houses on the market is people have low interest rates. A lot of people I talk to, they have a 3.25%, 3.5%. So, and they want to buy a different house, but then that house payment's at 4.5% now.
Right.
So it's the same thing there. If they had a 4.5% interest rate on their home and they're getting an equity line, it's the same number, right? Same interest rate. You might as well just go ahead and refinance now and get it done.
Right. And remodel. Right. Don't move.
Right.
Great
they're
idea.
going to stay most of the
Right.
most of the people, that's what they're doing. They're staying where they're at now.
Yeah, we're seeing that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that doesn't help house values or house for people to get out of your, like I still have a 21-year-old still living in my house who, she's still going to school, but if she wasn't, she couldn't, there's not a lot of inventory for her to buy in that price point.
It's tough for the young ones to come up and buy a house, man.
Yeah.
Really tough.
Yeah. Because, a lot of people look at, I remember when I was a kid, it's like you look back and it didn't seem that expensive to me now, but now, an average rent in Modesto is probably $1,400 for an apartment.
Oh, my first condo was $71,000 in San Jose. Had a $543 a month mortgage payment.
Well, you should have kept
That was great. I should have kept the condo. Yeah.
It'd be worth a lot more than that today.
Yeah.
So that's all right. So now you heard all my spiel about where the market is and everything. So let's talk more about your business. So you want to go back to, what do you want to talk about of what's important?
Oh boy.
So there's
what's important?
All right. So we talked about, ice makers and stuff like that. I have another question that was sent to me. What's the oddest outdoor kitchen appliance?
Oh boy. The oddest outdoor kitchen appliance. Man, that's it. You throw me curveballs, man. The griddle would probably be, if that wasn't so becoming more mainstream now, people would think that's probably pretty strange to go building that into. Why would you go outside cooking a griddle?
Are people putting stoves outside?
I'm not seeing so much ovens out there. I don't think we've ever done an oven outside, to be honest with you. But we've done them in garages, but I haven't done them outside.
Right, I would see, and for me, that's where I would want to have my, an oven you use during the summer.
Doesn't mean you couldn't do it.
Right.
We have to find an outdoor oven for you, though, Ed. Yeah, we have to
probably
look
hard
that
to
up.
find.
Probably might be a little tough. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get the cooktop, and then you have to use something else.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'd say probably griddles, maybe unique or strange. But I think because, like I said before, people are spending more time outside and they want to spend family time outside, and that they're doing different type of appliances in these outdoor kitchens.
Okay. Are there any must-haves for an outdoor kitchen?
I don't know, must-haves, obviously the barbecue, obviously,
Right,
but if you can get a sink there, it's nice. They have come up with ventilation now, which has been a big deal. Quite often
For the hoods and stuff?
Yeah, do you want to barbecue? If it's raining outside, it's nice to be able to go out and barbecue. And a lot of these outdoor kitchens are under a patio or against a house or under an overhang. And so we're seeing more and more big hoods and big ventilation systems on outdoor kitchens.
Well, and I'm sure that's good because it takes all that smoke up instead of going over to your neighbor's
And it's a
house,
lot.
right?
Think about how much smoke there is in a barbecue compared to cooking a grilled cheese sandwich in your kitchen. It's a lot of smoke.
Yeah, because I know with we'll just say smokers and Traegers, I mean, there's a lot of smoke those guys put out.
Yep.
And I'm surprised today that someone hasn't complained about it, your neighbors and that kind of stuff. Because,
I'd call the fire department.
well, it's just, you see a lot of smoke and you're like, amazing what, it's going in people's houses. And
Yeah. Especially with the smokers. Yeah, there's a lot of smoke on those things.
I'm surprised that California still allows them.
Oh, it's California. Could be gone anytime.
Yeah, and I just took care of it. They're going to do it.
Yep.
All
Just
right.
ruined it for everybody, Ed.
Thanks. All right, so let's go. So our next project at our house is our bathroom.
Yep.
I think I had you look at it. And what we're going to do is I've decided, and I'm just going to tell everybody, basically we're going to take out both closets. I don't know if you remember our place. There's 2 closets there, and expand it into those 2 closets. And then in our master bedroom, we actually have, I don't know why, we have a walk-in closet and then 2 regular old closets that they had on the wall. So I was going to take half of one of those and put in for that bedroom.
Yeah, just a couple of feet in a bathroom can make a huge difference.
Yeah, because you can rearrange everything now, right? And make it to where it's easier to get into.
And you've got raised foundation, which makes moving all the plumbing
Pretty easy.
a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you have so let's go to that slab foundation. You have to cut it,
You can still
dig
do
it
it,
up,
but you got to cut all the concrete. Yeah.
and then re-pour the concrete.
Right.
Is it just like normal concrete, or is it? for somebody, a
it's
layman
normal
like myself?
concrete unless the house is a newer house. So they do have what's called a post-tension slab, and they take these cables and they put them under high pressure, and they stretch them out so there's a tension on them, and they pour the concrete. It's called a post-tension slab. You can't cut through those.
And what houses would have those?
It'd be newer houses. I just did one in Patterson that we had to deal with some issues with that and had to get very, very creative.
So you can't cut the foundation at all.
You can't cut through it because if you cut through one of those cables, it weakens the concrete.
So are they set up for because of earthquakes and stuff like that?
Earthquakes,
Is that the new
California,
thing?
and just they're always trying to make things better and safer and stronger. So
Now, if you build an outdoor kitchen and all right, so say you're adding an outdoor kitchen and it's in a covered area, do you have to add sprinklers to that too now?
no, you don't have to put sprinklers in the code. No.
Okay. So.
There's not a lot of code stuff out there, surprisingly enough, for outdoor kitchens. I probably just run that like you did for the. But there's not a lot of code stuff out there. You have to use a lot of common sense because you've got open flames, you've got fire. You've just got to make sure it's safe. Biggest problem with underneath an overhang is smoke staining and damaging the stucco or the siding that's out there, and you have a bunch of smoke damage everywhere.
So that's why you have the vent.
Right.
All right. So let's go out to our break. Thank you for listening to Real Estate Jerky. We'll be right back after this break. We'll talk some more about kitchens and bath with my guest, Steve Benson. And remember, you can listen to us on our podcast at iHeartMedia, iTunes, or Google. Just Google Real Estate Jerky, and you'll find us. Talk to you when we get back. All right. Now we're only going to have 10 minutes, so.
You winged it good, man. Good at winging it.
All right, we're good. All right, we need
some questions?
tell Marlene to come here.
Rewriting all the code.
We need questions. We're out. We don't have anything to ask. Yeah, we are. We have no questions. I went through everything we had. And we got 10 more
I'm not good at stretching it out, apparently.
First.
No, the problem was the first segment, he talked so fast through all his answers.
I know.
He didn't ask all the questions.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't. All right, the very first outdoor kitchen you built, okay?
That wasn't on here.
And it is. And when you were talking about the over-the-top outdoor kitchens that you've recently built, just expand on that.
Yeah.
Like right down to the what was the purpose and what was and the coolest stuff on that kind of thing. And then go that direction in bathroom as well. Because you were talking about bathrooms being just so complicated and so much more complex nowadays. Be more specific about that.
Okay.
And then we're out. You go through those 3 things and we're out. That's all the time. Because those are things that consumers homeowners. Oh, you know what we didn't talk about is values. How much these things do add value.
That's a appraiser question.
Yes, but we do know national averages, which I included there somewhere.
I didn't get that other page. You sent me that other thing. That's why I don't have all the questions. You only sent me this.
No, the national averages I put on there.
No, you didn't. Not on this one.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't get that second.
All right.
You know, one you normally would
You know,
have.
one how to come up with the conversation. The one topic is
Return on
and have
investment.
is return on investment.
Correct.
And the time frame
Yes.
and what kind of value do you put on your enjoyment to have that?
Right, exactly.
So try and put
that's
together value and
So, would you rather go in that direction or no?
that
I'll
could-
tell you why, because national average says this.
that'll help me dump more stuff on Ed because he can talk about.
Outdoor
outdoor
kitchen. Here, let me tell you. I remember these because I was just looking at them.
Right.
So outdoor kitchen ROI, ready, is they average the national average, and this was a 2018 number, was 18,000.
Was it National Average Outdoor Kitchen?
Correct.
See, I didn't
correct.
know that.
And the ROI they estimated was 72%.
Okay.
And then regular kitchen, they estimated the national average at 22,000, which I found really interesting. Only $4,000 between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not a
national-
California kitchen.
Yeah.
Well, it's a national average.
Right.
Was at 22 and some change, and the ROI on that was at 79%.
Okay.
Bathrooms higher on the list of ROI nowadays. Didn't used to be that way. So I totally concur with what you were just saying about
Yeah.
bathrooms being like the next big kind of
Right.
improvement.
How much is that?
National average was at, it was like 14,000, which I thought was ridiculously high.
Yeah.
Until you start thinking about all these electronic
Yeah.
things going in.
Well, and like our average kitchen, our average bath is probably 22 or 25,000.
So this is what you can do. You can spill these national average numbers, and you can say, well, here in California,
Right.
right? Because we have listeners on podcasts that are not in California.
Right.
So,
What's the ROI for the bathrooms? Do you remember?
yes, 82%.
Yeah.
So the kitchens are at 78, the outdoor kitchen was at 72, and the bathroom, which I thought, that's kind of what's screwy, but
Yeah.
it's real recent numbers.
Yeah.
Because I've been writing this stuff for real estate for, with ROIs and what
Right,
to do, and
right.
contractors, because I have my share of those too.
Right.
That was numbers that kind of stumped me.
Yeah.
Like, it
Yeah.
just says a trend that's changed. A big
I'm actually
change.
surprised that the ROI is that high on.
Outdoor kitchen.
Well, outdoor kitchen is really high, but typically the lower the number. Correct me if I'm wrong. The lower the number, the higher the ROI is going to be.
Right.
But $5,000 if you
Right,
paint the
like
house for
windows.
$5,000.
Like I was looking at the same report, and windows,
Yeah.
replacement windows. The ROI on them was like 89%. It's like the top front doors was number one.
Yeah.
A front door.
Right.
Right was number one.
Right.
ROI, and
Yeah, but it's cheap. compared to
exactly.
everything.
Right.
Number two was attic addition. Again, this was a national thing. Number three
Right.
was windows. So it went down the list. Number four was bathroom.
Yeah.
So it used to be kitchen would have been there, right?
No, but everybody wants a tub now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The wife
maybe
wants a tub.
you could probably burn a whole lot and be more.
I meant to call you about not getting the second thing.
Sorry.
I just ran out of time myself.
Yeah. No worries.
And also talking about the difference, so you get an 80% return on your investment, but then are you going to get 20% of enjoyment out of that before you sell? Well, you think you would.
Right.
So
Right.
you have to do
Well,
it
it's
because
like
you're going to
a pool.
enjoy it.
A pool, you get a third bag.
Pools didn't even make the top 10.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just saying a pool, you get a third out of it.
Yeah,
Right.
which shocked me about the outdoor kitchen. Which
Yeah.
just shows you how incredibly popular they
And
are.
people are paying attention to it.
Oh,
They're really paying
good
attention.
grief. I was stunned.
Well, there's ROI, but there's that, and the thing that nobody really talks about is that it changes the marketability of your home as well.
Yes. Right.
So yeah, you're going to get that back, but your house probably is going to sell faster as well,
Right.
or easier, or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I was stunned.
But it's-
I was like, what?
Yeah.
For an outdoor kitchen? Not
Yeah.
the pool, not on the top 10 at all. And you think, even though, you got California, Arizona, Texas, you got a lot of hot states there
Right.
where there's pools.
Right.
So, anyway, have fun.
Okay.
Leaving the bull behind. It's Real Estate Jerky.
This is Ed Parcaut, mortgage advisor at Lending for Living, and we're back talking about kitchens and bath with Steve Benson of Modesto Kitchen and Bath. Statistically speaking, kitchens and bath are some of the best returns on a homeowner's investment. Steve, give us your perspective on some of these. The national average for bathroom, let me get it out here so I read it right. So it said outdoor kitchens, the national average is $18,000, and they get a 72% ROI on that. And it said that kitchens, the national average is $22,000, and you get a 79% ROI on that. And then your bathroom is $14,000, and you get an 82% ROI, which I think is really high, but I think it's because the numbers are different in California and the national average, right?
I would think that as well. Obviously, we're in California. Labor rates, insurance, you name it, is higher here. Right. So the numbers are going to be higher. The outdoor kitchen numbers really aren't that. I was surprised how high the outdoor kitchen number was on that, and actually surprised on what the return on investment was for the outdoor kitchen. That's really high.
Right. Yeah, I want to go back to that national average for the kitchens. Yeah. I want to do that again. Let's go down to that number. No, but I could see how California is so much more expensive with all our regulations we have. Everything has to change. You have to get more expensive stuff, right? So I could see, let's just say, I would say our average in California for a kitchen remodel is probably, what do you think, 35, 40 grand?
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Yeah, so then you'd probably have an ROI, if you probably between, I'd say about 69 to 70-ish%.
That's kind of a number I throw around when we're chatting it up with customers there in the showroom. I think a big deal or something that people need to pay a lot of attention to is, yes, it's an investment. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to obviously increase the value of your home. So if you spend an X amount of dollars, you really have that 30% left over that is your enjoyment factor.
Right.
You know, or if you're going to stay in a house for 10 more years, is going to be worth 30% of what you paid for that kitchen to you enjoy that for the next 10, 15 years.
Right. But also, if you keep the old kitchen in your house and you go to sell it in 10 years from now, your house isn't going to sell as fast as if you had remodeled your kitchen.
Changes the marketability of your house tremendously.
I know that because we remodeled our kitchen in our last house. We had a pool and everything, and it was really done well. And when we went to sell it, it sold within a few days.
Yeah.
And I know the market was that way, but still, that neighborhood, other houses all had the original kitchens from when they were brand new in 2002.
Yeah.
Right?
There's three things you look at when you're going to invest in your house: kitchen, bathroom, outdoor kitchen, whatever you're doing. There's three things you're to look at. It's going to be your return on investment. You know, when you go to sell the house, you have to have those numbers in your head somewhere. You're going to have the marketability of the home, just what you're talking about. It changes tremendously to be able to sell a house that has a new kitchen to something that's 40 years old, obviously, and your enjoyment factor. And it's hard to put a number on the enjoyment factor.
Right. And for me, it was to keep my wife happy, because the kitchen, that kitchen I had, when we bought the house years ago, I bought it in 2002. It was fine for me because I never cooked in it. Right.
Well, and if your wife's happy, your enjoyment factor goes up tremendously.
Oh, amazing when she's just cooking in there. But I'm just saying that it depends on why you do it. That was, for me, she wanted it done. Most important thing was to have it done because she cooks in it. I don't. I make breakfast. That's about it.
Sure.
So let's go back to that outdoor kitchen's 18 grand. Is that average outdoor kitchen? Would you say nationally? I mean, it's nationally, but how's that for you, what you see in California?
I would say we're doing a lot of kitchens. If outdoor kitchens, if you've got something that's 12, 14 feet long, and you're doing granite countertops, and you're putting in maybe some ventilation, and you're doing a couple, more than one piece, not just a barbecue, maybe a barbecue and a griddle. Get a sink in there. You bet $20,000 is probably very realistic for an outdoor kitchen.
Because you probably have to, like you were saying before, hook up a drain, hook up the water, that kind of stuff, right?
Right. And the client actually has a lot of control over what that costs based on their product selection. It's going to cost the same to hook up a $1,500 barbecue as a $10,000 barbecue. The labor is going to be the same. So the client has a lot of control over how much they're going to spend on their project.
Right. What did you think about the national average for the bathrooms, $14,000?
Oh, that's pretty low.
Well, the ROI was 82%.
Which I thought was tremendous. I mean, that's really high. That's a fantastic return.
Well, you're in there a lot.
You spend a lot of time in there, yeah. Some more than others.
Right? You're probably in there more than you're in your kitchen.
Yeah. When you think about just a shower, if you really break it down, for a couple in a master bathroom, a shower gets used 700 times a year.
Wow.
If you got a couple of kids, 1,000 times a year a shower's being used.
Right.
So
teenage son, it's never being used.
Yeah. But that's why you don't put in a $30 valve that gets turned on and off 2,000 times a year.
Right. Right. All right. So, what was your very first outdoor kitchen you did?
Oh,
we got a few more minutes.
Probably 30 years ago, and it probably had 2 pieces of countertop and a Home Depot barbecue in the middle or something. I don't know. That was a long time ago. It probably didn't cost very much. They just got so much more sophisticated now.
Right.
When you can buy barbecues that have Wi-Fi built in and refrigerators and ice makers and griddles and ventilation and just all the stuff you can do, and the products have changed so much. The products have changed tremendously. There are granite slabs, porcelain slabs, things that you can be outside in direct sun, never going to fade, never going to have a problem with that. So there's specific products that are for outdoor kitchens.
What's the best, since you brought it up, what's the best product for outside for your counter?
Porcelain.
Porcelain?
Yeah. So
how is that compared to granite pricing?
it's substantially higher, probably double.
Really?
The stuff, it's so tough.
Is it pretty durable?
It's very durable. Yeah. The only thing that really scratches is you can take a screwdriver and drag it across here and you won't scratch a top. It's pretty amazing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sledgehammer will damage it.
Sledgehammer take care of it pretty well, yeah. Yeah, they take care of it.
Just so I know where to draw the line, see how tough it is. All right, so that was your first outdoor kitchen. We were talking before about over the top and kitchens and bathrooms. Is there anything you want to add to that before we go?
Oh boy, we did an outdoor kitchen probably been 10 years ago that had a bridge over part of the pool. You had to walk over the pool to get to it. It was a very high end house. It was in the Bay Area, but we had to sub it out to a pool company. But we put a bridge over the pool, so you had to walk over the pool to go to their outdoor kitchen, and it was huge. You probably sat 15 people, 3 television sets outside, and this is even before the really good. Before those TVs were $80. You know,
Right. Those are the old big tube TVs. Right?
Yeah. But a built-in brick pizza oven. It was I can't remember, but it was over $100,000.
Wow. And that's today would be a couple $100,000.
Yeah, probably 150. Yeah. That was probably 10 years ago.
All right, so over the top of a kitchen in a house.
Probably just size. When I did a job in Fremont probably 5 or 6 years ago, and we had an island that was 23 feet long.
That's a long island.
Kitchens, the rooms aren't that big.
Right.
So yeah, the island was 23 feet by 7 feet, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
You can't clean the middle of it, but it sure looked cool.
One slab?
No, that was probably 4 slabs on that island.
That'd be a big slab.
Yeah, it was.
Bathroom, over the top.
Over the top bathrooms.
The new toilets?
The bidet toilets. You can talk about bidet toilets all day long. In fact, we were joking on the break. There's a manufacturer that does these automatic toilet seat bidets, and I was laughing because on the remote control for the toilet seat bidet, it said it works up to 15 feet away. I don't know why that's necessary.
Yeah,
I can't wrap my head quite around that. But
for that couple who wants it, it's there.
It's there for them if they want it. Probably we've done some giant showers that you could put a basketball team into, or you've got a shower that's 10 feet by 12 feet, as big as a bedroom. And just go in there, take a shower. I did put a toilet in the shower.
Really?
Yeah, that was probably 5 or 6 years ago. We put a toilet in the shower.
I just don't understand that.
It's probably not. We could probably talk about that. That's for talking over a beer. The most complicated thing on that was keeping the toilet paper dry.
Yeah, I can see.
And that took some engineering.
I can see that. So we got about 20 minutes before we say goodbye. Is there anything else you want to add?
20 minutes?
Yeah, 20 seconds. Sorry.
I don't think. Just thanks for having me on the show. Had a great time. Love to come back again.
And we'll have
you
you
guys
again.
do a great job.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, not a problem at all.
All right.